How many times have Democrats won each state for governor since 2000? That's what we're going to find out in this video. We'll do the same for the Republicans in a future video. We could also go back further, but today it's 2000 and it's the Dems. So in the last 2.5 decades, where have they been dominant? Where have they been lacking? If you're not overly familiar with this kind of data, you're going to find some surprises. So at the top, I've got 8 tiers of shading from 0 times all the way up to the max, which is 7. Now, some states have elections for governor at different years. Some had one in 2000. Most of them had them starting in 2002 and then going every 4 years. A few were different years entirely, and also New Hampshire and Vermont. Those states have 2-year terms for governor, so they've had a lot more, twice the amount. And also a few states had a governor step down, so there was another special election. That could be an opportunity to tack on another win. There's also recalls. We're only going by their party affiliation the year they were elected. We're not talking about party switches, and we're not talking about if they happen to step down and a different governor takes their place, possibly from a different party. Which states do you think Democrats won the most in, and which do you think had the least? Now we can dive into this. We'll start with the most, and we'll go down to the least. So how about 7 times? Which states had a clean sweep for governor this century? Well, first on the West Coast, Republicans have been shut out in Washington and Oregon. Oregon did include one special election. If we go to the East Coast, we've also got Democrats dominating, shutting out the GOP in Delaware 7-0. Now, one other state that has the Democrats winning 7 times is New Hampshire. But the caveat there is there are only 2-year terms here for governor. Republicans have won some as well. But in terms of raw wins, Dems have done it 7 times. Next, we'll go down to the states that have done it 6 times. First, we've got California. That is going to include 1 recall win. Next, on the East Coast, it's North Carolina. Not known as a blue state, but Democrats have had a lot of success here for governor as of late. But one more state in this tier might be the biggest shock. That is West Virginia. Dems have elected a Democratic governor here 6 times since 2000. That includes 1 special election. And it is a very, very red state, but that wasn't always the case. Dems have had a ton of success here up until the recent couple of decades. And for governor, that continued even a little bit longer. So that might be a big shock. Let's go up to the next tier. Dems have 5 wins in the following states. First, it's Colorado. Then it's Illinois. Then we go back to the East Coast. It's New Jersey and New York. Back into the Rust Belt, it's Pennsylvania. And finally, recently securing their 5th win, it's Virginia. Next up, the states where Dems have won 4 times since 2000. We've got Connecticut, Hawaii, Kansas, Kentucky, Maine, Michigan, Minnesota, Montana, New Mexico, Wisconsin, and finally Vermont. Again, 2-year terms here. Republicans have a bunch of wins, but the Dems have done it 4 times here. Now, how about up to 3 times? And for this map, these are going to be considered the purple states. First, in the Southwest, it's Arizona, then Louisiana. Then in the Northeast, we've got a couple of very blue states. It's Maryland and Massachusetts. Another similar state in this area we can put in is Rhode Island. The last one in this tier, it's not on the East Coast, it's Missouri. Next, we'll go up a tier to the states where Dems have just 2 wins under their belt here for governor. First, we've got Arkansas. The next state is Iowa, followed by Oklahoma. Then we've got Tennessee. The last state here is Wyoming. Now, most of these are pretty red states, so you might be surprised to see Dems have actually won 2 times here since 2000. But back in the first decade and a half, when most of these governors were elected, conservative Democrats in the South, they were still having success in a bunch of states. In Louisiana, it was a little bit more recent, but it's still a similar story. Now we'll do the states that the Dems have managed to put up just a single win since 2000. We've got 2 neighboring states. It's Indiana and Ohio. After that, we've got 1 more state. It's a battleground. It's out west. It's Nevada. Dems was just 1 win here in the last 25 years. And that leaves the states where the Dems have done even worse, where they have 0 wins in the past 25 years. You're already looking at them, but let's put them in. We've got Alaska, Idaho, Utah, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. It's a goose egg here for the Dems, completely shut out. The worst of these states is in Utah, where they're 0 for 8. That includes 1 special election. In North Dakota, they're also 0 for 7. Most of the rest are going to be 0 for 6. Their best one is going to be Alaska, because they're only 0 for 5. There was an independent candidate that had a win there. So that's 1 against both the Dems and the Republicans. And that wraps up the map. Dems completely weak in a lot of the usual areas. We're talking about the South, some of the upper Great Plains, and out west with Idaho and Utah, but they've also been dominant and had even more success in red states like Kentucky or West Virginia. Kansas and Louisiana not looking too bad either. But on the flip side, they're going to come up looking weak in solid blue states like Maryland and Massachusetts, even Rhode Island. And we can't forget about Vermont, one of the bluest states out there. But only 4 wins here for the Dems with 2-year terms for governor. You can thank Phil Scott for keeping the Dems away from a bunch more wins there. Montana might be another unusual red state that has elected a lot of Democrats for governor. And even though Nevada is a pretty purple state now, Dems not really having a ton of success there, just 1 win. But they might make up for that in the other battleground state of North Carolina. There, they've only lost 1 election since 2000. So a lot of fun facts here when you're filling out this kind of map. It's just another way to present different types of data from different time periods. Who knows how these maps would look over the next 25 years, but for now, let me know in the comments. What do you think about any of the data on this map? Which 3 or 4 states surprised you the most in one direction or the other? Let me know what stands out to you down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.